Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. It has been a while since I've last posted a video, and I would like to apologize about that. I've just had things come into my life to where this truck, along with my other projects, have been put on the back burner, but I have found time to where I am getting back on them. And for starters, I'm going to be working on the floor for this cab. And if you notice, it's outside the shed. That's because I completely forgot to make an intro video after doing all the stuff, well, most of the stuff so far to this cab. Though I have to say I have been doing a few things here and there on this truck. The reason I haven't been recording it is just because of the heat and humidity we're having here. It is summertime in Texas after all. But I am slowly yet surely moving along with this thing. And as some of y'all might remember, the original frame for this truck was bent, so I did some searching and found a local shop that should be able to straighten it for a relatively cheap price. And I actually have the frame sitting over there. I'm getting it cleaned up and ready to haul down to the shop. So expect a video of that when the time comes. But as for now, let me show y'all what I've been doing to this cab. My agenda today will be to address this poorly done patch job on the passenger side floor here, and what I assume is to be galvanized metal that they just welded over the floor, the spots that they cut out. So I'm not exactly sure why they did it so cheaply, but I'm going to do my best to take all this out and see what the damage is underneath. But from what I can tell looking from the bottom is that they just cut out little bitty spots in here and used way too much plate to cover it. But I ordered a brand new floor and toe board section, so I'm going to basically just get rid of everything you see here up to the firewall and down here to this little joint, and all the way to the kick panel and down here to the mounting hole where the cab mounts to the frame. And I've been doing some grinding, and I noticed there's a lot of Bondo here. So one idea I had in mind was to take this cab, once I'm done doing some body work to it, take it to a friend of mine who could do some media blasting so I can see what kind of issues we have, because there's Bondo in the cab corners and a couple other small spots, but it's nothing major, I hope. As for the driver's side, it has these small little rust spots that can be easily fixed with a welder. But when you come up here, somebody was putting in a late model steering column, so they decided just to hack it all up all the way up to the firewall, and they left quite a burr here to cut my finger on. But I plan on cutting that section out of the old cab and putting it in here and welding it up and trying to make it look good. So it shouldn't be, or I don't think I'll need a whole new piece like I'm going for the passenger side. So let me get my safety glasses and get the grinder ready, and I'll start hacking this mess out. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. Even though I'm going to be replacing this entire section, the reason I'm cutting these two pieces out is to see how much usable metal I have here on the floor and by the kick panel, so I can see if I can weld the new panel onto any of it. And yes, these flip-flops are OSHA and Freiberger approved. It's 5 days later and my cab still has the Flintstone mod going. And my piece of floor I ordered showed up today. And let me say, it's not exactly what I wanted, because the piece they had pictured, it went, let's see if I can hold the light here while I hold the camera. Piece I wanted came all the way down here, went all the way up to pretty much the firewall. But the piece I got is basically the whole floor here and a little bit of the toe board. And it comes up to right here when obviously I need it much more higher. So I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. I was thinking just cutting it and making it work, because I still have part of this floor I cut out, and I can weld it up and make it work. Or I can go ahead and cut a piece out of the old cab and make that work. But I'm thinking a whole lot of creativity to make this thing fit. One other thing I noticed is that this hole way up here, I have absolutely no idea why it's there. Now there is a bracket that holds a fender to this piece, but the holes are like way down here, not up there. You can see them on this side of the floor. I don't understand why it's done like that, but yet the sticker on the other side, where is it? Ah, there it is. It says made in Taiwan, so hey, you get what you paid for, right? Well, once again, it is another day. I have been contemplating on what metal needs to be cut out. I decided I'm going to start cutting back here behind the seam. It's going to go over, going to go up. I'm not even going to worry about this mess. I'm going to go over about this general area. This little section is going to need to be cut out as well. We got some metal flashing from the previous floor that needs to come out. This needs to be taken care of, along with the booger welds that were hiding underneath the Bondo, which is absolutely no surprise there. All right, I've made some good progress today. I've been cutting and grinding the majority of today, and this piece is just about ready to be welded in. I still need to do some touching up on all the sides, and also I need to drill a hole for the cab mount and bolt, the 2 holes for the fender mount. And I need to, well, I like to drill some holes down here so I can spot weld this piece down to the cab bracket. And there's also a cut here, and I'm gonna have to weld that up. But as for today, I'm pretty much done. I am filthy, and it is just about supper time. So I will see you in the next day or so. All right, I'm back on it today, but I'm gonna be doing something a little different. Other than finishing up the floor, I have the cab ready to be lifted up and to be set onto this frame. Now, I showed y'all this frame on the previous episode. I picked it up from a friend for a cheap price, and I changed it up a little bit. I have an 8.8 rear end out of a Ford Explorer 1996, I believe. The front axle has been changed out as well to one that's already been converted to 5-lug disc brakes on both sides. I got both axles for a really good price, so I decided to buy them and put them underneath this frame, even though I have no idea what I'm going to use this frame for other than just a temporary cab dolly. And the reason I'm doing this is because I believe it'll be a whole lot easier to work on the cab. I can move it in, I can move it out, I can take it wherever I want. I can roll it up on the trailer for whenever I take it to my friends to get it sandblasted. I have to do some work on the steps, so putting it on the frame will make it a whole lot easier to work on. Also, I think it will help stiffen up the cab, putting the bolts in it, the 4 bolts on each corner here. Plus, look how dark it is in here. There's no light. It's hot. There was hardly any air coming through here. So I can roll out here, get all the sun I want to get a nice breeze. And when I'm grinding off all that Bondo, it won't cloud up in my face. Well, the cab is pretty much ready. I have it emptied out. I still need to take some stuff out of the way, like these tires, those jacks, those fenders, the hood, and some other miscellaneous parts and pieces. But we are just about ready to lift the cab. Well, the cab's on the frame. I didn't bother recording it because I figured it would be a fiasco, and boy was I right. Been tinkering on it a little bit just to show y'all what I've been needing to do to this cab. Obviously still need to put the floor in, but it's all bolted in. I'm going to eventually take that bolt out, obviously, to put the floor in. But the bottom hinge pocket here has been replaced. Horrible welds covered up by Bondo. There was a rust spot here that the guy tried to patch himself. I'm going to need to address that. The steps here are just kind of sitting in place. There's a piece of angle iron going all the way back here. More rust. The cab corners have been replaced, but like that hinge pocket, just horrible welds all the way down. I guess there was another rust spot here he tried to patch. Tons of Bondo, just way too much of it. And I'm sure I haven't done anything with the other cab corner, but have no reason to doubt it's going to be the same thing or the same way as this one. Usual rust over here. Need to hack this out and replace this piece down here. Looks like he did a little more welding, but the firewall overall seems pretty good. Need to repair that. Down here it's worse. Already pulled this chunk out, or this piece. See right through it. Down here it's actually pretty good. This step, you can see daylight through it. So I'm going to have to come through here, clean it, do a little cutting with a wire or a cutoff wheel, and try to get this much closer to the body. And this was bent down because this way I've been moving it, it folded under itself. Like I said, this cap corner is probably no different than that one. The filler neck has been cut off and filled, and in a very horrible fashion. You can see they just put a piece of metal up there and filled it full of Bondo. The dash obviously will need to be replaced. Let's see here, just some minor floor work, and I'm not sure what they were trying to do here, but you could see it's like they had round tubing in here, like they were trying to make a makeshift roll cage, even some over there. And I guess they cut this out for a shifter. Some rust over here, I showed that to y'all earlier. The roof seems all right, other than some small rust holes here and some over there. Got this spot to worry about, but I'll just cut that out, and I guess when I take it to my friend to get it sandblasted, clean that up, and I'll just weld in. Obviously a little patch panel, but I haven't been doing much of anything with it because of how hot and humid it's been. Oh, and as for this bumper, it's called a smash hit bumper, and they are fairly rare, so I'm going to keep it. Once the truck gets mostly complete, I'm going to run it. And from what I can tell, this used to be chrome along with the bumper. See a little bit of faded chrome there. Usually these are painted, but it's even more rare to find one that was chrome. And one thing I forgot to mention, even though they replaced the outer cap corners, they didn't even bother to replace the inner cap corners. They just cut them out and got rid of them. As you can see straight through to the ground, and it's like that on both sides. So either I'm going to have to put new inner cap corners or fab up a piece of metal that is level with the floor and it just goes across, and I'll weld it in place once I finish the repair job on the outer cab corners. Even though I have all this work to do on the cab, I really can't complain because I pretty much got this cab for $100. I got it driver's side, passenger side door, 2 front fenders, 2 hoods, the grill support piece that goes in between the front fenders, and the grill itself, along with 2 inner front fenders, offers $700. So if you do the math, I got this cab for a really good price. So basically $100, $200. Well, it's been a few days since I've last recorded anything. I've just been wanting to get this stuff done. So let me show you what I've been up to. Both steps are out on the passenger side and the driver's side. They actually had, let's see, this angle iron, pretty much right, well, on the underside there we go, holding the step in place, and it was tack welded in. Poorly done, poorly done. So I took maybe half a day grinding all the welds out. The steps are still in good condition, so I'm going to save some money and reuse them. As for the corners here, I'd say they're usable. I just need to go in there with a welder and a grinder, and I'm sure I can fix this up and make it look good. Same for the driver's side. The front side, well, I haven't really messed with it. I could probably do the same here, weld it and grind it and clean it up. I'm still thinking of what I want to do on here, but as for the edges here, I'm going to take a grinder and clean all that up. And I do like the idea of the angle iron, but I'm probably going to use, I think I'm going to use that idea again, but I'm going to use a smaller diameter. This stuff's like, what, 1.5 inches? I might just use 1/2 inch because I think that'll be a lot cleaner. And also, I think it adds a bit of sturdiness to it. So I'm going to go that route. Also, the floor is just sitting in place. Nothing's welded in yet because I still need to do a few things before that goes in permanently. Let me go around to the driver's side here. Yeah, as you can see how much Bondo was caked over these welds. This corner needs a little help, but like I said, I'm sure it's fixable. And I left the angle iron on here just to show y'all how it looked. They just kind of poorly welded it on the front, back, on the inside. But I'll just, like I said, take a grinder with the flat wheel and just cut all that off, and it'll be good to go. Also, I think this will be done in multiple parts because there's just so much to do here. I got to put the new floors in, got to fix up the cab corners. Plus, the only time I really get to work on this stuff is in the evening after work, which only gives me a few hours every day to work on this thing. Plus, the mosquitoes want to eat me alive. Gee, I wonder why. So, if you're interested in part 2, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.